what can go wrong? Even if this startup doesn't work out, which I really believe it will, but if it doesn't, I can work anywhere at the moment. And the fact that I also created this Instagram, which is growing, this will open me so many doors. Data is growing exponentially, but data scientists who can deal with this data is growing linearly.
You're listening to the Work in Progress podcast, and we are your hosts, Dana and Angela. We believe your work and career should evolve with you, and it is therefore always a work in progress. In this podcast, you will hear stories of people who turn their careers from something that no longer serves them into something that complement who they are and their life goals. The way I like to think about it is that their careers are growing and stretching just like they are. Our goal is to inspire you to get out there and to make the changes you want for yourself and your future self. Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the Work in Progress podcast. I'm Dana.
And I'm Angela.
And we're really excited for you to join us today because today we're talking to Albert. Albert was a mechanical engineer and he recently switched to data science. And he just finished a 1-year-long master program and we just have a lot of questions for him. I'm really excited for you to join us today, Albert. Welcome.
Thank you very much for me to having here. I'm also happy to be here and let's go for it.
Thank you. And so we have a lot of questions for you, but first I was wondering if you could give us a little bit of introduction about yourself, like where you are right now, and then we'll take it from there.
So yes, my name is Albert and I am originally from Spain, from Barcelona, but I've been living the last 6 years in Germany. And as you said, I am a mechanical engineer. You actually said I was a mechanical engineer, but I'm a mechanical engineer. That's, I guess, is something I will ever be, because that's kind of what I've always done, building things up. Yeah, I've always, when I was a child or little boy, I started always building things up, Legos and so on. Yeah, and also through my youth, playing video games and so on, they were always related to building things up. That's something that I always loved. Yeah. I was not aware about this until a few years later, but that's something that I always love. Maybe I'll comment on that later. So I became 18 years old and it was time to study a career, which was mechanical engineering. It took me 6 years, even though it was 3 years long. And that's because I like to have lots of fun between semesters. But at some point I made it. I finished my mechanical engineering. And I remember before starting working as a mechanical engineer, I also went to London 6 months to improve my English. But then I finally started working as a mechanical engineer. The first working experience was in Spain and Portugal. I worked there 3.5 years, and that was, I would say, I won't say the best experience, professional experience, but I will say I couldn't start better my career, my professional experience, because it was a small company. I was the only worker, actually. So the company was founded by my 2 bosses. One of them was my uncle, actually. And it was a nice experience because they were 2 50 years old engineers. So a lot of experience, 20, 30 years experience, working experience. And I was the only worker. That means I was working next to them in a daily basis for 3.5 years. Yeah. So I could see and experience and live a lot of things, from day one that not every fresh student is capable of living, in normal situations. There, I worked in production. I also worked with customers. It was really, really mechanical engineering based, my job, So that was good because I applied my studies, and that's not always the case. Sometimes people study something and then they work on something completely different. But in my case, I really applied my studies. And there, that's also important. I kind of had the first customers, which were German. So I had my first contact with the German people. And, in Europe, Germany is the most powerful country here. Yeah, it has a lot of influence in Europe and European community. Then I realized after 3.5 years that maybe what I was working was good. I was learning a lot, but it was maybe I'm someone that always traveled a lot, as I said, in London. But I always love to get to know new cultures, speak or learn new languages is something that I love. So I decided to quit that job and go to Germany. That was a kind of an adventure. I was 28 years old, and I'm really motivated always. Yeah, but the first thing I had to do in Germany was to learn German. That took me about 6 months to learn German intensively. That was 4 days a week, 3 hours a day doing class, and then studying in the mornings. And I had to do that because in Germany, otherwise, or at least in the area where I am, that's Bayern, it's not easy to find a job if you don't speak German. Maybe elsewhere, like Berlin, is easier. But in Bayern, I had to learn German. So yeah, it took me 6 months. Then my money was over. So I had to also work as a waiter 6 months. That was not funny because I was coming from working as a mechanical engineer 3.5 years. But yeah, I had to do that. I didn't want to surrender. But after 6 months working as a waiter, then I got a job. I found a job actually at BMW, the car manufacturer. And there I worked 3.5 years more. Yeah. At BMW, my first task was quality related. I was kind of making sure that the quality system of part of the company was working. And then the second task and main one was to develop Rolls-Royce cars. So I was traveling often also to England, to Goodwood, where Rolls-Royce factory is. So yeah, that's what I was doing the 3.5 years I've been working in Germany. But something is really relevant in my career here. In Spain, as I said, I was working really hard because at the end of the day, that was a startup with my two old bosses. Yeah, we were working long hours, weekends, and me even more because I was the student. But in Germany, things were different. Here, we have the welfare society. It's a bit different than capitalism. And yeah, I had a more comfortable life, private life, professional life balance. So I had time after work to do a master, and I did an MBA. Yeah, it took me 2 years, but that was really good. It was also stressful because even though we have this balance, when you do a part-time MBA plus the 40 hours working, that's tough, especially doing the thesis. That was really, really tough. But yeah, the MBA kind of taught me what's the direction that our society is, where our society is going. Yeah, and that's data based, so to say, or yeah, globalized, connected. And I found that so interesting. I wrote my thesis also in relation to what's the future of the connectivity of cars in the electric infrastructure. And I saw how many challenges are there in terms of data and connectivity, how many players are part of these ecosystems. And this is just one example. There are a lot of ecosystems like that are being developed at the moment. And as I said, I am a person who, since I was a boy, loved to build things up and to develop and to innovate. And I kind of realized that as a mechanical engineer, I could have a good career as a mechanical engineer, good life, but the possibilities to innovate and to be creative or to create, to also receive investment and so on are a bit harder than in the IT world. Yeah. So once I realized about that, I decided to shift my career, which is the topic here. That was 1 year ago that I quit my job as a mechanical engineer at BMW. And yeah, back then I had already been reading a lot about the concept of data scientist. I don't know. I think I did that because I wanted to make some side money back in the day. And I found this concept data scientist that I could do a little bit of side money. But the more I read about it, the more convinced I was that this was the perfect change for me. So yeah, after quitting, I decided to do a master in data science. I found a short one in a Spanish university, talking Spanish, obviously, online. Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I finished lectures about 1 month ago. And now I still have to write my master thesis, which is due on the 7th of September. I think I will have to run because I haven't even started. And on the top of that, I realized that maybe we can speak about that. I don't know. The thing is, during studying, I also did an internship as a data scientist already. It lasted 6 months. It was also over a month ago. And I just did that to start touching a little bit the topic, yeah, not just studying, but also practicing.
I'm really impressed with how you've been consistently working and going to school at the same time. That didn't just happen for one job, for one degree, it happened for
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
ones.
A bit
That
crazy.
is
Yeah.
impressive. I'm really curious. When you talk about your MBA thesis, you said that you wrote about the, I guess, the future or the connectivity of, I can't really remember, but
Electric cars, yeah, with the grid, let's
yes,
say. Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. I'm interested in that. Can you talk a bit more about that? Like, what's the future like?
Okay, in a sense, this is a little this is happening, but mm, let's say in a small scale at the moment. I think that you have there the biggest company and the promoters of this, which is Tesla. Yeah, in Tesla, if you are a customer there, I think for what I read back then, that was 1.5 years ago. So I'm sure things are more developed now. But back then, as a customer from Tesla, you could already be part of this future, let's say. And the thing is that electricity is really expensive to generate. And that's mainly because if you have a surplus in electricity, to actually save this surplus, it's really expensive because you need a lot of batteries and they are massive. And batteries are even, that's the expensive thing, batteries, yeah. So when we have a surplus in electricity, this is normally lost, okay? And on the other side, you cannot have a lack of electricity because then you have blackouts, and blackouts are even more expensive. Yeah. So that's why in electricity you always need a surplus, and that's why electricity is not that efficient. Yeah. But that's where cars may play a role. If electric cars really penetrate the market, we will have the chance to save. I don't know if that's the right word. The surplus in electricity in the batteries. Yeah. This means we will have at night, for example, you may have your batteries at home in your cars, yeah, and you have the chance then to fill these batteries up. But then you can also do the other thing, yeah. If when there is a need of electricity, you can take this electricity from the batteries and sell it back to the system, yeah.
Mm.
So I think
Oh,
that was
yes.
exactly that's uh, vehicle to grid and grid to vehicle. That were the concepts, yeah.
Huh.
So today you have grid to vehicle, you bring electricity from the grid to the vehicle, but the technology that's being developed is that you can then sell this electricity or bring this electricity back to the system, yeah, when there is a need for it. And this will kind of soften this inefficiency of electricity because now if you have a surplus, you will be able to save this electricity into the batteries. And when there is a need, then you can sell it back. But that's really complex because there are a lot of players. They are the energy suppliers, but which have always been there. But now there are also the car manufacturers, which are completely separated from energy suppliers. And that's the question: are they going to become a team? Are they not going to become a team? And then there are many roles. Yeah, I don't remember some of them, but we are also a role because we are the owner of this car and this battery, and we are buying this electricity. But then someone is buying this electricity back from our battery, so we are actually earning money there too. Yeah, and it's really difficult. These scenarios are really difficult because there are many, as I said, players in there. Who is the owner of what? Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of what I studied back then, and that's where I saw this topic with the data. Because imagine a city with, I was going to say 1 million batteries, but maybe your cities are bigger there. But let's say 1 million batteries, and let's also say 1 million houses, yeah, with 4 million users using their devices, yeah, and consuming the electricity. The coordination of all these devices and houses and batteries and the direction of the flows of electricity is crazy just for one city, yeah. Then imagine for a state or for a whole country, and this is all controlled by data and by machine learning mechanisms. And that's why all this is still to be invented in a way and implemented. And that's
Mm.
where I saw this opportunity, and that's why when I decided to shift my career because of that. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And yeah, I think I've read something about how you can store the excess electricity in the battery and then use that efficiently or make use of that excess.
Mhm.
I guess this kind of sparked your interest in data science.
Exactly.
How was the school like in data science? What was that 1 year like? You were working at the same time, right?
Yes, exactly. I was doing this internship. Uh, because of my experience with the MBA, that where I really had a tough time doing both things, in the second internship, I asked to work less than 8 hours a day. Yeah, I was doing 32 hours a week. Yeah, so 7 hours a day. But yeah, I was working every day from, I don't know, 9 till 4, more or less. One day off, Fridays normally. And then afternoons, I had class every afternoon from Monday till Thursday, 2 hours a day. And the first insight was that I did this course online. And that was the first time I did a master on an online university. And I was really happy about it because, you think that in an online master, you will have to be really consistent and be motivated to actually go there, download the PDFs and read and finish the homework and so on. But in this case, this was quite innovative because they were doing lectures live every day, 2 hours. And so that was good. It was not a record that you could see, any day or any time. You could actually assist during the live session. Masters in Germany, I don't know now in the US, but in Germany, they last normally 4 semesters. I think in the US, it's 3 semesters, meaning 1.5 years. But I was so tired from the MBA that one of my main requirements was to find a master that was short. So I found this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was exactly. For me, that was kind of the PhD. It was not a PhD, obviously, but it was kind of it because it took 4 years at the end, the whole thing. Yeah, it's taking 4 years. I was happy about the online course, and I wanted to be 1 year long, exactly. So maybe 1 year long. I haven't done a second master in data science. I cannot compare. Obviously, a 2 years long master in data science will have more content. But what I learned, I think, is enough to have an overview of what I need. And that's actually what I'm feeling at the moment because I haven't spoken about what my intentions are now. I don't know if that's okay that I do.
Yeah, of course. Please.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please.
I have 2 options now, I guess. Once someone finishes a master, this person had 2 options. One of them is finding a company and working for it. And the second one is learning by yourself. Yeah. I think I'm now in a sweet moment of my life because I have been working 8 years, including this internship, in different countries, with different languages, with different people, with different cultures, because German and Spanish or Latin cultures are really different. And that was really enriching. So I decided instead of finding a company to do my own thing. Yeah, I have also my MBA. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I have both technical and business backgrounds. So now I decided to do a startup, which is going to be AI-based, artificial intelligence-based. I'm going to use data. So yeah, I chose this second path. Yeah, the one that where I learned by myself. Yeah, and I started 2 weeks ago. So I said 1 month ago the internship and the lectures were over. I did some holidays or vacation, and 2 weeks ago I started with this startup. Yeah.
Wow, congrats. I had no
Thank you,
idea.
thank
I
you.
know you just finished a couple of weeks ago when we were emailing, but I didn't
Exactly.
know that this happened.
Yeah, that's
Oh
new.
my God. Congrats.
Thank you
How
very
has
much.
it been so far?
So far, I'm alone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I did the basic things. I found myself an office, a co-working space, the cheapest one, obviously, but still a cool one. That they offer kind of an accelerator program where they help you. I still have to find out more. What do they exactly offer? But there are other programs anyway in Munich. Here it's becoming a startup hub in Germany. So yeah, I need to make some calls to find out what it's there to be offered. But yeah, so far I'm in this place, this working place. So I started 2 weeks ago. And first I kind of settled the basic things, which is a Google Suite, by the way, really awesome tool. I can just recommend it. I've been using it for 7 days. But my brother is going to give me a hand in Spain, so I wanted a global area network, and Google Suite is the perfect solution for that. And now I'm putting a lot of thought. I want to use lean startup methodology. So now I'm trying to figure out what's my hypothesis, which I can tell you more or less my hypothesis or the goal of this startup is I want to create an application that helps people grow personally, or in other words, reach a higher level of consciousness using data, especially using natural language processing. So at the moment, I invested almost most of the time in marketing strategy, because I think it's important to figure out how this startup is going to look like, under which company is going to be, what's going to be the name of this company. This company has to have a fit with the vision of the startup. I also have an Instagram where I speak about all these things. That's a kind of personal blog. So I also want this personal blog to be under the same roof, marketing strategy roof. Yeah. So that's mainly what I've been doing. I actually had a 1 hour meeting today with a consultant from Spain to confirm the big picture that I did. Yeah. So yeah, that's mainly what I've been doing. But the next month, or the first goals of the startup, or the main goal is to find investment within the next 6 months. I put deadline February 2021, but I'm confident that I will get investment in 2 to 3 months. Maybe what scares me is the German mentality. In the US, it's, for example, easier to get investment than in here. So that's maybe what scared me a lot. But yeah, I'm confident I will get investment within the next 6 months. That's the main goal. And once I got this, and until then, my first task or main task is to create a business plan where I kind of calculate what I would need in terms of development, in terms of marketing, operations, and so on. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Yeah?
I'm curious. You you said that you're going to use data and AI to help people, I guess, reach higher levels of consciousness.
Exactly.
What does higher levels of consciousness mean?
Okay, I'm also figuring all these things out. Yeah, I'm also reading a book, the Lean Startup book I'm reading, and it is said in there that startup at the end of the day is uh, in a completely what's the word, uh, unknown environment. That's not the word, but uncertain environment. That's when I'm moving myself, because I have a vision, but how to get to that vision, it's not defined. It's impossible, because I'm going to use technology that's completely new. Yeah, it's the state of the art. But let's maybe say this is also part of my personality. About 3 years ago, I mm, I understood how important it is to, or the concept of consciousness. Okay, I understood how important it is to invest time in knowing yourself. Yeah, um, because this kind of makes of you a better version, in all of the sense. So I realized about that, and I started investing time reading books and seeing things in me that I didn't know, and the change is so good, and so beautiful, um, that I just thought that I would love people to realize about that too. Yeah, because I can say everybody has ego. I guess it's something that's inherent in us. Some people more, some people less. That depends on our context and background, yeah, and past everything. But in my case, I had ego, and I realized about that, And now that I'm working on that, I just see how important it is and how beautiful it is to to realize that my life is better since then, yeah. And the fact that I have technical background, because in this, let's say that I believe that in this area, yeah, there are not a lot of technical people. I believe, yeah, maybe it's not true, but anyway, that's what I think. The thing is that I have this technical background, so I kind of have the means to make it possible um, for me to bring this consciousness with to the people, to help people actually reach higher level of consciousness by means of technology. So I think that I can have this capability to do this. Yeah. So that's why that became my mission, and that's what I'm going to try to do in this startup. Yeah.
Wow. And you said your brother is joining you from Spain.
Mm, in a little scale, let's say, I just want my brother to be part of it because I love him, and
Yeah.
he's also a really smart guy. He's been in banking many years, and this sorry for the word, but clause of society where we are part of a company. We are a number in a company. We are working for someone else and reaching someone, which is capitalism. Yeah, it's okay. But I don't know. I don't find it right to spend my life working 40 years for a salary I did an exercise once after finishing the MBA. I kind of calculated how would be my capital at the age of 40 working at BMW, where I had a good salary. Yeah? And that did not convince me at all, And I was working hard, and I made these calculations without considering family, anything. Yeah. And that's what I thought, that cannot be. I mean, what am I going to do here until retiring? I don't want to be, working for a few vacations a year for someone else. And I just don't want that for my family neither, And that's why, or beloved ones, which also include friends. That's why I wanted my brother to be on board at the beginning in a little scale because he has family. But let's see, hopefully in the future he can be full in. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yes, I've talked to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people definitely share the same sentiment
Mm-hmm.
as you,
Mm-hmm.
that they don't want to devote their entire, 30, 40 years. I don't know how many years people work. And 40 hours a week, probably even more,
Yeah,
even way
definitely.
more for some people.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, not get a lot back. I mean, yeah, you do get compensated for what you work for, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not worth it. And
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see why. So yeah, for sure. Was there anything difficult throughout this process for you?
Becoming data scientist, you mean, yeah?
Yeah, becoming data scientist, or in the past few years when you were going through your MBA, and now or probably in the future, what you foresee could be difficult for you?
Career change for me, it was not easy now to do this internship in one aspect because I knew that, yeah? But at the end of the day, you are becoming a student, yeah, and you're going somewhere where you have no clue how things work in terms of content. Of course, I have experience. Of course, I know I had project management capabilities, yeah, and no one had to be on me saying do this until Friday, do this until Tuesday. There was no need for that. But anyway, it's difficult to be a student that's maybe older than your colleagues that have been there working for 4 years, because maybe they are used to have students which are younger and can be uh, easy managed, let's say, yeah, than a guy who is older than you and who probably has been more around than you in terms of experience in the world and so on. So that was not easy. Yeah. Um, Regarding the future, I'm really positive normally, especially in when it comes to business. That's because of my first boss, I would say. So I don't really have many worries because I don't think anything can what can go wrong, even if this startup doesn't work out, which I really believe it will, but if it doesn't, I can work anywhere at the moment. And the fact that I also created this Instagram blog, which is growing, this will open me so many doors, because I'm also getting into a field that's really niche. I mean, it's really new. Yeah, not many people is going to work on that, and that's one of the things that people who think about becoming data scientists should know or remember. Data is growing exponentially every second we speak. Yeah, there is more and more data being generated in an exponential way, but data scientists who can deal with this data is growing linearly. Yeah. So there will always, or not always, but for the next years definitely, and that's what convinced me. There will be jobs. So that's why I'm confident about this future, because anytime you can always receive suddenly a message from even one of your audience could hear me, and offer me something. You never know. Yeah. Uh, so that's why I'm confident that the future will be positive in one way or another. Yeah.
Wow, I really like your confidence, and honestly, I don't really hear that a lot in people, because usually when I ask people, they are pretty worried, or they have like a few things that's kind of making them worried, but not the case for you. So I think that's really refreshing, and I
Thank
think
you. Thank
that
you.
it's I like it, and I think that it's true. Better to be more better to be more positive than to be negative, and not try things out. So definitely.
I want to actually ask some questions about why you picked your 1 year degree over some other types of ways to learn data science. I'm not sure if this is something that you have also in the like European countries, or maybe it's a little bit more common where we are in California, specifically San Francisco Bay Area. We have actually something we call boot camps, which are a little bit more like, they are really what they sound like, boot camps. So like shorter periods, concentrated, immersive kind of situation where people learn. Usually the topics are around something like coding or data science. So I guess I was curious to learn about your process of picking like a program. Did you consider shorter programs? Did you consider trying to learn data science online first to see if it's something that you'll actually enjoy doing? Or maybe there just weren't that many options and then you had to look at more formal like schooling for that?
The first thing I did was reading about it a lot. As I said, I discovered this concept, data science, just to try to make some money on the side. But then I realized that was not going to be that easy. But I read a lot about it. I read about the capabilities that you need as a data scientist, because if you want to shift your career, you can do anything. Anything. You can shift to anywhere. But if it's possible, the transition will be smoother if what you're going to do has at least few similarities to what you were doing. And that was the case in data science. Just to give some examples, in data science, you need mathematics, you need programming, you need statistics, you need also presentation skills, and so on. I don't know how to program. I didn't know how to program. I still don't know how to program like a pro. But I am a mechanical engineer, so the mathematical and statistical part was going to be something easier. So that was the first decision. I can do that. It can be a smooth, relatively fast transition. And then there are two options. You can do a master or a bootcamp. I'll speak about that later. Or you can learn by yourself. I actually wrote about that on the Instagram. But that, again, it depends on your context. You can learn by yourself, definitely. And today there are so many things online, but it will just take you longer. That's okay. If you have the time, if you're 22 years old or 25, I don't know, or if you won the lottery and you can have to gap years, then do it online. That's fine. But I was coming from the MBA, and I thought, if I have to do this shift now, I have to do it now, because if I want to do it as fast as possible, and then I want to stop studying, so to say, because I was tired of studying, and I said I need something short and fast. So I choose a master. In a master or bootcamp, it doesn't matter. You have professionals who design the best and fastest possible course for you. And you have contacts there. You have direct contact to scholars who are proficient in every single of the disciplines they are teaching. If you're doing by yourself, you don't have that. You have to Google everything, maybe ask a friend. It's going to take you twice or 3 times as much as doing the master. That's why that depends on the context. In my case, I chose the master because I was coming from the MBA and I wanted to do the transition as fast as possible. And then regarding your question to bootcamp, we also have that in here, but that came as an influence from the US. Actually, I found 2 companies that were offering that in Barcelona, but one of them, I don't know if the background was American, but I also did not deep dive a lot into how many things there were in terms of bootcamps, but not many. I found 2. But the thing is, and I also spoke with them and everything, but the thing is, they were asking you to be 6 months concentrated somewhere. In my case, it was Barcelona or Berlin. And in my case, economically speaking, I was gonna just spend money and stop earning money for 6 months. And that was, in my case, also not a possibility. And I was coming from the experience of doing part-time master, so I knew how tough it was. So I said, okay, you've done it 3 semesters, 5 semesters, 2 more semesters, you can do it, So, and doing that, another part-time master, I could still work and make money. So that's why, in my context, it was better to choose a master where I could work parallelly and make money than to choose a bootcamp where I would be maybe more relaxed, but I would not make money, but just have expenses. Yeah. So that was my choice, but everybody's choice may be different depending on their context. Yeah.
I see. And you said you did an internship during this time. What was that like? What did you do and where was it?
It was also at BMW. I kind of used my network. That was also one of the problems, not problems I had, but I had to find a solution. Germany, it's good to work here because, or at least spend some years, because their system, which is really based on rules and procedures and doing things slowly but right, is what makes this country working. Yeah. But at the same time, at the same time, this can be, sorry for the expression, but a pain in the ass. Yeah. Uh, and for finding an internship in data science, that was the case, because with zero experience in data science, but having started my master, I think I could find somewhere a position where they would teach me for few money. Yeah. But in Germany, it was not possible. I applied not too many, but I don't know. I think it was about 25 companies, and I got rejected everywhere because my experience was still zero. Or I got maybe one offer, but it was more in a project management direction and not pure data science. And then I just used the network from BMW, and I was lucky because I found a position there. And I was lucky even more because the position was in strategy from the company. And the strategy department included marketing, branding. And that's something I studied in the MBA, but never touched before, because before I just did mechanical engineering, pure and simple. Yeah. So I was lucky with that because I was 6 months surrounded by this marketing and strategy environment. And it was really interesting because I could grasp a lot on how this works. And yeah, also the internship, because, having the experience, my boss was really a nice person. We connected a lot, and from day one, I told her what my intentions were in the internship. You have to understand that in the internship, I was going to lose a lot of money. I had German, before the internship, I had German subsidiary. I don't know how it's called, but I was receiving help from the government. You get that when you finish a job and where you are done with the job for 12 months, welfare society again. So I got that, and doing the internship meant losing money. So that's why I make sure with my boss during this internship that what I was going to do is what I wanted to do. Yeah. Which means really programming using Python, and we agreed that from day one, also working less hours than what was meant to be. A problem was that Corona happened during this internship, right in the middle of it. So yeah, I could not be in touch with the colleagues. I was there with them 1 month and a half or two, then 2 months not, and then another 1 month and a half. So that was also maybe the bad aspect of it. But in general, it was good because I could see where are the problems in data, also in a massive company, and that there is a lot to do, and again, I could confirm that everywhere there is so much to do in data, there is so much coming, that it just started, this has just started, and that's why I wanted to do this change, because that's going to be innovations for years until I retire, no matter when that is. Yeah.
And along this journey, what was your family and friends' reaction? Were they very supportive or were they against it?
Yeah, my family, they know me already. Yeah. When I was 20, I think I went to Ibiza. Ibiza? Party Island, yeah, in Spain.
Yeah.
So back then, with 20 years old, I went there. The next youngest guy there was 28, maybe. So, so to say. So I was kind of a really hippie back then, and enjoying life. And I did that twice, 2 years in a row. I've been always looking for this experimenting. Always. I'm not scared of certain things. I have also other scares. That's the conscious part, let's say, other fears, sorry. But when it comes to entrepreneur or to venture, I'm okay with that. And the same happened with London and also Germany, because coming to Germany with no language, that's not easy neither, but what will they say? They know me, and things work always out. Of course, maybe my mother would prefer for me to keep on working at BMW, buying a house, and do what society tells you it's meant to be, or maybe what's the mainstream, which is not bad. Okay, it's a way of life. But I don't know. I like that. I just want to create by myself, not for someone else, and they understand that, and I'm prepared, and I think I have the drive, so they see that. And as I said, what can go wrong? I'm capable of working somewhere else anytime I can find a job. So I'm supported, definitely.
Sometimes people don't get supported in their career changes, but I'm really glad that you're getting support and the important people in your life understand you and where you're coming from.
Sometimes I think that my situation is everybody's situations, but you're right. It's a pity maybe if someone is not supported. I'm happy, I'm blessed for that.
So, if people want to follow along your journey, mentioned that you have an Instagram. Where can people find you?
As I said before, today in the morning, actually, I spoke with a consultant guy to finish up what
Yeah.
would be my marketing strategy, because I have this vision, not only from the app, I want to make it a bigger thing. I cannot speak about that, sorry, because I still have
Yeah, yeah.
to close up the names and domains and
Uh-huh.
everything. But at the moment, I want to create my personal brand. At the moment, that's Instagram. You can find me there under the name conscious.scientist. But my intention, I will start actually tomorrow. I want to dedicate one day a week, that will be Friday, to create my personal blog. Yeah. So I'm gonna slowly also connect my most trusted or trustful followers, I don't know how to say that, to this blog. Yeah. I wanna have a database with my most beloved network, let's say, yeah. Because I want also these people who follow my mission to be the early adopters of the application I intend to develop. Yeah. So in terms of branding, now it's the Instagram, but in this Instagram, I'm gonna announce slowly that I created this personal blog. And slowly, I would say, if things go as I expect, which normally it's not like that, but in 6 months, maybe 1 year, I intend to create a bigger community. But that's still to come. That's just in like a baby. Yeah, it's just an idea. But yeah, I really would like to do something bigger, this consciousness and data part. So that's what I'm working on. But so far, what I have is that the Instagram account, but definitely it's going to grow into the personal blog. And one day, I hope I can create a bigger community.
That's wonderful. I feel like I heard multiple things. Like, you're focusing on starting your startup right now, but you do have a vision for starting it and creating this bigger community around, what you want to do and your mission. So maybe you can come back and do a part 2.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I mean, no problem, definitely.
Thank you for your time today, Albert. It was wonderful talking to you, and we're really excited for what you're about to create. Super excited for you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Perfect. We keep in touch. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. You just finished listening to an episode of the Work in Progress podcast. If you like this episode, make sure you share this with someone who can benefit from it and leave us a review on iTunes. Don't forget to let us know what you think or if you have any questions. You can find our contact information in the episode description. Keep doing the good work, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.